What's up YouTube? It is your boy JB and we're here today with a review for the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 6, the reunion part 1 of 4. Not quite sure why we needed a 4-part reunion, but we got one, right? So before we get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, then I need you guys to do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, like button, turn the notifications on, and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. So with that out the way, without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and discuss the reunion, shall we? All right, you guys, so in typical reunion fashion, we open up the same way. We see Andy and he goes to each room. He went to see Zen when he went to see Candace. You know, he's driving back. He went to see Hey Arnold Stewie, her big forehead ass. He went to see Saturn's rings. Don't think he saw Boy Robin, but you know, he did. He made his rounds, right? I think he saw Karen. I think he saw Mia. I can't remember. So we see all the ladies as they're heading to the stage, right? We see Mia is the first one on the stage. Then Hey Arnold Stewie joined her. Then Karen. Hey honey. It's interesting to hear Karen call Hey Arnold Stewie honey. Then Saturn's ring showed up. Boy Robin showed up, and Candace drug up. Actually, Wendy came, and then Candace was the absolute last one there, right? So we get into the reunion. Andy Cohen, hi Zenwin, hi Andy, hi Grandam, hi Andy. You know, we have to do the pleasantries, right? So then the first question we have is for the person who is sitting on this side of him, which is Saturn's rings. I'm like, why is she sitting next to Andy? But whatever. So we talk about her fashion choices. A viewer asked a question of, has her fashion choices gotten better? Has she gotten a new stylist? She said she has the same person she's been using. I'm like, it's not a surprise because you're using the same hairstylist, Cal. But I will say, her reunion look, it's not the worst. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. But she thinks she looks nice. And if she thinks she looks nice, hey, who am I to say boo or what, right? So then, you know, Andy shows the ladies a video of Nicki Minaj. So you guys remember on social media, Nicki wanted to host this season's reunion. So at this point, the ladies did not know that Nicki had made it. So he sent them a video of her saying that she wouldn't be able to make it to the reunion. So then we move over and we start talking to Mia, and Andy asked Mia what was the experience like with these ladies, right? So she says that, you know, it was a wild ride. And so then Andy asked the ladies, you know, what did they think of Mia in her first season? And Candace said at first, I liked her. And then he moves over to Giselle. Giselle said she liked Wendy, not Wendy, but Mia, and that Mia kept it real. And Candace like, not really, she lies. She was like, why come you didn't say that? She said, well, he didn't ask that, but you said that. And, you know, we go into that, which we know Mia does have a little bit of a lying problem, right? So then someone asked Mia, you know, what was she? You know, we all know when Mia was a stripper, right? So the person was asking a question of what was she? And I don't know what kind of stripper Mia was. It was the ball gowns, but she took the ball gown down to dance and she just had on her boy shorts. But then at this establishment, they had lobster and steak, and they also had a shoe shine guy. You can get a massage, you can get your car detailed, you can get a lot of things done, huh? Where in the hell did you work in this? She said G built up the VIP. Okay, Mia. You know, I'm not gonna say cat, dog, boo, none of that. We're just gonna move forward. All right, you guys, so after we move past what Mia did in her profession, we talk about the relationship with her mother briefly. So Andy asked how are things between she and her mom. She says that they're good, that she's been watching the kids. I'm like, oh, hopefully she doesn't call you or G, but she's watching the kids. They're in a good space. And she said her mother said that she's gonna pray for Candace. Candace said, I don't need the prayers, tell your mother to keep them. Please and thank you, right? So Mia says, so then a viewer asked the question of Mia about her flip-flop, and Mia says she doesn't feel that she flip-flops, which you 100% did. Mia feels that what she did was she spoke how she felt in the moment. No, we ain't gonna give you that, right? So then Andy asked Giselle, because we talk about the text message that Wendy sent to Boy Robin and to Giselle, right? And he asked the question, does Giselle think that Karen coached Mia? She said yes. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how? Did you watch the footage? She did not coach that woman. Mia did things on her own, but if she feels that way, she feels that way. So then we shift back over to Saturn Drinks, right? And we talk about who she was dating, right? So the commentator, remember in the finale, she was dating a commentator allegedly. So Wendy said that, she knew who she was potentially dating, right? Because the guy had said something to her. And so Andy said, was it Van Jones? And Wendy said, no, she's not his type. He likes women with integrity. I was like, ooh, stick it to her, Wendy. Come on. I love it, right? So then she says that the shack that she has, the hut, that is coming along. And Andy asks, is it cohesive? She can never say yes or no. So it leads me to believe that that house still looks the same way it looked before. A hot, atrocious mess. So then Andy asks Giselle when she and Jamal break up. Giselle could never give a definitive answer about when she and Jamal broke up. She kept saying that they broke up after the reunion, the holidays, this, that. And Wendy even said the question, but we all saw the video of him last year after the reunion aired, him saying he was not in a relationship. And that was about what? That was November or December of last year when that happened, when he made that video. But whatever. So then Andy asked the question of, was the binder, did it play any part in their relationship? And she says no, that it didn't, because the binder wasn't any new information, that she and him had talked about it. Now, if you and him had talked about it, why not say that when Monique brought that up last season, when Monique called out his phone number, why not say that's his phone number? And Jamal and I've had a conversation about that. Monique shut you down last season. Let's keep it real. Monique shut you down and you had nothing to say. So I'm more inclined to believe that you did not know about that binder, what was in the contents of that binder, and you just was like, you know what? Let me just say this so that people can get off of my back at this point, right? So then Andy mentions Jamal's tax issues that he has, right? And she says that the tax issues have nothing to do with her. And Karen was like, but you were Mrs. Bryant in 2008. If those tax issues go back that far, then you do have something to worry about. And she said, I would just advise you to look into a lawyer. But she says, she and her girls, they're good. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. So let's move on, you guys. And I think we're going to wrap up. All right, you guys. Yeah, so we're going to wrap up this part one of the reunion. So we get my favorite, Escala. She joined the ladies. She looked amazing. So we pivot over to Candace, right? So we're talking about, Candace's, her music career. Congratulations to her with her album. Really good, Deep Space. If you guys have not heard it, go check it out. Then, we talk about Chris and Candace, him being her husbander. So she says he really wasn't in control of the music. Chris was more so managing her. And I was like, okay, I guess it makes sense. So then Andy asked the question of, how was Chris getting paid? And she says he's getting paid in love. Mia, I'm gonna need you to shut up, please and thank you. Well, if you're paying him with sex, that is a prostitute. That's her husband, and she's not prostituting herself to her husband. We're not sitting here saying that you're prostituting yourself to G. So I know people are trying to say that, in the past you may have. And Mia was confusing when she was talking about her business, right? She talked about the fact that G only his name is on 2 of them. She said she was with Massage Envy. None of that shit makes sense. Then she said he owned a McDonald's, but he sold them. Nothing Mia says makes sense, right? So then, Hey Arnold Stewie decided that she wanted to chime in when they were talking about Chris, right? She was talking about the fact that Chris drinks and Candace, like he's been doing that, and she's talking about that, the fact that the pandemic may have taken, may have had a hindrance on him, made a impact on him, especially with his restaurant having to close down, right? And she says Candace says that the pandemic has changed all of us, which that is true. And then, so they asked the question of, is Chris's name on the deed to the new house, and is Dot's name on the deed for the new house? Candace says Dot's name is not on it; it's just hers and Chris's, right? So then, they asked, what is the state of her relationship with her mother at this point, right? She says she's put her mother on the sideline, right? And she said that, she cursed her mother out, and, she hasn't really spoken to her mom. And then they asked, how does Chris feel about the comments that Dot made at the video shoot? And the ladies all made a point to say, but Karen wanted to defend Dot, but they never let Karen defend her. So what they all said was that Dot came up to each one of them talking about Candace and Chris, but Mia was really the only one that took the bait, right? So Candace says that Dot was hurt by her comments, which absolutely, I mean, we saw this happen. We saw this happen on Real Housewives of Atlanta with Candy and Todd, and it continues to happen, right? And I think with both Candace and Candy, it's going to continue to happen until they put their foot down with their mothers and say, this is my husband, you have to respect him. Okay. All right, you guys, so this is the part of the reunion that I saw the clips of, that I put on my community tab, that I was going to talk about at length, because we got to discuss this, right? So we move over to Candace versus Mia, right? Now, Candace, the only thing that I didn't agree with Candace was when she told Mia that her ass was ungrateful for the comment that she made. Now, what she said, like, some of y'all are acting like y'all have never heard of your mama joke before. Like, when you were in elementary school, that was the go-to thing. Your mama. Like, that's the go-to thing, is your mama. Like, let me give y'all a perfect example of something y'all went up for that had a your mama joke in it. White chicks. When Marlon and Sean dressed up as Brittany and Tiffany Vandergilt and went up against Megan and Brittany and Megan, when they did that, your mama so old that her breast milk is powdered. Your breastfeed like this. Remember that? Your mother's ass is so hairy it looks like Don King's about to pop out and say, only America. Like, y'all don't remember them? Okay, y'all do. Y'all remember. It's just because of Candace that y'all have an issue with it. It's just because of Candace. But okay. So, here's where we get into, they come at Candace, right? So, at this point, it was like, y'all really trying it, right? So, Candace, what they're trying to say is, well, you went really far with the whole your mama. Y'all talk about her mama. Y'all talked about her mother. Y'all say, is Dot paying for this? Is Dot paying for that? Is Dot paying for this? That's a your mama crack, right? Exactly. Hypocrites. So basically what it is they're trying to say that Candace is wrong for everything she says and does, right? And Andy was talking about the fact that, why do I wake up to tweets that I should fire you? So it's just Candace that you've gotten tweets about that she should be fired? So I watch all the Housewives. You guys know that. People said that Erica Jane should have been fired. But you mentioned that at the reunion. Erica Jane should be fired. I have saw people like OC. People said Vicky should have been fired. She wasn't until just recently. Tamra. Who else? Let's just think. I know you've probably gotten plenty of them about Portia. That Portia should have been fired. Who else should be fired? Like Andy missed me. So then, I'm done with the notes. So then Candace, I love the fact, I'm so happy that Candace called this out, because someone asked a question, did she know about Mia's mother? She says no. So she was like, and I had an issue with Mia when she said that if her mother relapsed, that it would have been on me. And Candace said that's not fair because you're the one that brought your mother to this show. And she says, my mother wanted to tell her story. No, your mama did not want to tell that story. When you had her at that restaurant, your mother was completely and visibly uncomfortable. But go off, Mia. So, Candace was talking about, what we do in the Black community, how we rib each other basically, right? And what else? And then, they were talking, she was like, that's what we do. And, Andy was like, well, how has that worked out for you? Because you almost got into a physical altercation. You almost got, whatever. You guys know what happened last season with Monique, right? And she's like, so that's my fault? And here's my thing with that, right? So, and I tweeted this because Ashley's big head ass want to chime in and say, you've said some below the belt kind of things. So have you, Ashley. You talked about Katie's mental health. You talked about Ray's penis. You've talked about Robin and Juan's relationship. Let's not forget that Robin came down to the kangaroo hut with her finger in your face like this. You ain't did shit. Like, let's keep that in mind. Let's talk about the fact that Karen, who I love to death, has talked about Giselle's fat vagina, her fiery vagina. We had to go to Sing Sing, didn't we? Like, y'all have selective. That's slut shaming. And then I tweeted it. So Ashley becomes a mother, and now she becomes Mother Teresa. So we just forget what she's done in the past. Is that what we're doing? And then I also tweeted about. So let's just go down the line of all the housewives that I watch every city. But let's just go down the list of them, the main ones that I want to talk about, and ask what is the difference between Candace and these people. And we're going to get into it. So let's talk about it. The first one I want to talk about is Nene Leakes, Andy Cohen's good friend for years, right? So did Andy Cohen ever call Nene Leakes out when she told Claudia that you're a whore and that your clit has left your body? What does that mean? She's a whore. She ain't got no walls, but her clit has left her body. Exactly. Phaedra Parks. Phaedra, the infamous read for Kenya when she was talking about, when she said that, what you will know about the man is that he needed $10 for a medium-sized pizza, so he ejaculated in a cup so that you could have a baby. Now check that. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah. Portia. Love Portia. Remember when Portia called her Kenya a slut from the 90s? Was anybody upset about that? Oh, no. Then y'all talking about the fact that Candace called Ashley a roach. Kim called Nene a moose for years. Y'all ain't said shit about that. Y'all ran with that joke that Nene was a damn moose. Even Kenya called her a goddamn moose. So miss me with that shit, right? And then let's talk about physical. Teresa from Jersey pushed Andy into a motherfucking chair at a goddamn reunion. You ain't said shit to her. Erica Jane at this reunion that just ended. She called Sutton a fucking see you next Tuesday. She was rude to her castmates. She said nasty things to her castmates. Brandy Glanville slapped Vanderpump in the face. Nobody said anything about that. But Candace is wrong for everything. Candace can't even say boo to a woman. So y'all see where I'm coming from, right? The hypocrisy. What's the difference? What's the difference? Please explain it to me. If you can tell me what the difference is between all those situations that I just named, I would love to know. I would love to know. Would love to know. Would really love to know. Explain it. But that's it, you guys. I don't want to go too much longer. That's it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video and into the next one. You guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys later.